And that's the thing about board games. But DBG, what were you saying?
Look, I'm gonna give you my 5 minutes of DPG's corner on the Honduras National Team rant. Right? Because it was a mixed,
going.
it was a mixed bag of a weekend for myself. The fire drew. Honduras got their asses handed to them by Costa Rica. And thank God the U.S. men's national team pulled through and did not let me down for a weekend. Anyways, let's get one thing straight. The Honduran League is trash. The only two real professional teams from that league is Olimpia and Motagua, right? The team that Reynaldo Rueda fielded on the game against Costa Rica and even the one against El Salvador yesterday was made up mostly of these local league Honduran players, which it's not saying a lot. A lot of times, a lot of these guys get big-headed. They're riding on the coattails of the golden era of Honduran national soccer, which was when you had your Carlos Cosley, when you had your Carlos Pavón, when you're Amado Guevara, all those guys, right? So,
God, those were good teams.
Those were
the 2008 to 2012. Those were some good teams.
Yeah. So the thing about it is that those guys back in 2008 to 2012, they earned that respect. These guys, they automatically expect to be given that same respect when they haven't done crap. All right. The golden age of Honduran soccer is done. All right. It's over. There's not going to be any more successes after this unless something changes, which it doesn't look like it is. We're just going in circles. Let's see. You can't expect Honduras to be competitive if all you're fielding is a bunch of players from Olimpia or Motagua and the occasional random team players. All right. When you have two of the best teams in Honduras basically beating up on semi-pro teams, you're not really developing players. You're just taking out the trash. It's like if Manchester City was to play some League Two team all the time. It's a given outcome.
So that league is that it's that much of like the haves and have-nots.
Basically, it's like, and the thing about it is that somehow it's like the federation thinks that we're supposed to be better when in reality we don't have nothing to show for it. We don't have players that are going to Europe. We do have some success in youth teams, but it's kind of the case of
that was my
European
question.
Team.
That was my question. So are they investing in the youth? Are they at least playing the youth in the league?
No. So that's the problem. That's the problem right there. That's the problem. And this is similar to with the Mexico rant that Hercules Gomez mentioned. The problem is that we have some success in the youth national teams, and then when a European team is kind of interested, whatever that club team that owns that player will kind of slap a high price tag and be like, oh yeah, it's yours for this much. And then obviously the European team's like, oh, well, never mind. Rather than, hey, I'll give it to you cheap. We'll put a 10% clause, whatever.
Have they not played Football Manager?
That's what it is. So the fact that, and then the worst part about it is that none of these youth players, they, especially if they belong to like Olimpia or Motagua, these guys don't get any playing time. Olimpia or Motagua rather sign some second division Colombian player or third division player from Argentina to play in their club.
Then play their kids?
Then play their kids.
So wait, two questions for you. The first is,
it sets back
are there I can't think of anybody currently, and even we talked about the golden generation that Honduras had. Pretty much the highest level most of those guys played was MLS, back then, right? So are there any Hondurans out there playing in higher level leagues that aren't getting call-ins?
So Toke, let me correct you on that. Back in that 2008 to 2012 period, you had Wilson Palacios that was playing in Tottenham.
That's you're right. I forgot about him. Yeah. Yes.
You had David Suazo playing in Inter Milan. You had guys scattered throughout Europe playing in the Serie A. We had guys playing in the Championship. Some of them playing in Poland. We had a good core of players, spread around Europe. Now we don't have that. The only player, maybe there might be one or two players that might be able to make a difference, but the only player that comes to mind, and it's Luis Palma, and he plays for Celtic.
What about Albert Ellis?
Albert Ellis is injured.
Well, yeah.
He
What
was-
didn't he get concussed? They had to put him in the
in a coma. Yeah,
in a coma. But thankfully, he's out of it.
He's
But
out of it.
He's
Has he
still
not-
recovering.
Has he
yeah.
not played since 2023?
No, he got
No.
hurt recently.
So that was recent.
Yeah.
That
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
serious brain injury.
Yeah,
Damn.
yeah. So he got.
Because he's
So-
rated like their best player, basically.
You're right. He was playing in France somewhere, right? He
Yeah, he was
Bordeaux
playing
or
in
something.
Bordeaux.
Bordeaux.
And then, here's another name.
And
Romel
Brest.
Kyoto, who used to play for Montreal.
Yeah, Romelo
And in Houston.
Kyoto.
Yeah. So this guy has so many disciplinary issues that he's basically almost untouchable now. Like nobody, like the national team doesn't want him because this guy, the game against Mexico, which there was won 2-0.
Mm-hmm.
The guy prior to that game, obviously the players, they meet up and they start training. The guy rather go on vacation before he did that. So because of, that led to him being kind of ostracized from the national team. So we're like one less striker now. And then the team that was put on forward against Costa Rica on Saturday was made up of mostly league players. And of course, Costa Rica is going to blow them out. Like I saw the writing on the wall.
Costa Rica isn't really doing much right now either.
No, it's not. It's that Costa Rica is kind of a mixed bag. Like you don't know what to expect. And they're going through a bad spell because Panama will beat the crap out of them home and away. So
Rosales plays for Minnesota FC. He's their starting left back.
Yep.
Well,
He
you know
was
who
a
plays
fan-
right back, don't you?
Taylor.
Alex Roldan. Am I right or am I wrong?
That's El Salvador, bro.
Oh shit, my bad. Okay, never mind.
Wait,
So-
Roldan's brother.
So
Yeah,
here's
he
the
plays
thing.
as a-
Wow.
The World Cup qualifier starts for us in June, and we're facing Cuba. It should be an easy 3 points. If you find a way to mess that up, goodbye World Cup. Back to the drawing board. Because you know what? The way this team played against El Salvador last night, trash.
Well, how
Trash.
many do we have any idea what the qualifying process looks like for this next World Cup? Because
They
the
do it-
U.S., Mexico,
yeah.
and Canada are already in. How many spots do we even
So-
get? Because
So they
It's-
already did the groups. They did the groups already, and it's going to be a round robin.
okay,
So
okay.
so for the top two teams, they make it to the final group, which is going to be like Jesus, how many? Oof, it's going to be a lot of teams.
Have
So
you
it's
ever
gonna
heard
be-
of, Have you ever heard of Devron Garcia?
Yeah, he's garbage. Raul España.
He's garbage.
I think he
Yeah.
plays for
Look.
Orlando.
If I were to tell you guys like name like Minor Figueroa, Boniek
Oh.
Garcia, those guys sound familiar.
Garcia. Wait, didn't he have 2 kids playing professionally?
I think you know what? No, Minor Figueroa has kids that are playing professionally. One of them is actually part of the youth national team for the U.S. and he plays in Liverpool.
Oh,
His name is Cairo Figueroa. And don't get me wrong, the Honduran national team has tried to call him up, and he's like, nah. I'm playing for Liverpool. I want to wear the red, white, and blue, which I don't blame him because right now the Honduran national team is a disaster. I don't blame him.
Brian Acosta, he any good?
He was good. Again,
Oh yeah.
Former
These guys
MLS.
again, these guys. Like I said, back then, those players earned their respect. These guys want you to give it to them right off the bat before even showing anything. So that's it. That's my rant. I mean, if there's still time to fix all this, but time is short, and
Well,
the World Cup is in 2 years.
Do you have any ideas on how to fix this? Is it because it's got to be more than just like more money? It's got to be something about coaching. It's about something about changing the culture. It's about getting the players to buy in to that culture change.
So first off, the fact that we just hired Reynaldo Rueda back like towards the end of last year, which was kind of late in the process, it's not a good sign because you kind of want to give a coach plenty of time to kind of get a program going. And me personally, I think Reynaldo Rueda is riding on the tailcoats of his success from 2010 when he qualified Honduras to the World Cup. I don't think he has it anymore. And evidence to that was the game against Costa Rica, the game against El Salvador last night. His only saving grace, and before I start cursing it out, is the fact that he beat Mexico 2-0 in Tegucigalpa.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, Mexico's not even in the best shape right now. So
No, not at all.
not at all. So That's what it is. I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that these clubs, these tiny little clubs, rather charge exuberant amounts of money for players that a European team might be interested in, rather than just, hey, give the kid an opportunity, get him out of there.
Yeah, let him go. Let him try and grow.
I don't think they'll ever do this, but I got the perfect ball buster for Honduras. For Honduras to bring in as a coach. Former MLS coach. I
gotta hear this.
Coached San Jose Earthquakes. Matias Almeida.
We can't afford him, man. We couldn't afford Osorio as our coach. He wanted like
Almeida would change the whole culture, would kick everybody's ass. They'd respect him immediately too, and literally he'd fight them. He would fight anybody on the team.
Look, my thing is that you can't rely on local league players to play the national team because they're very it's not a good measuring tape. It's not like we're getting MLSers, for the national team. At least you have an idea what to expect. With these local league, which are Olympia players or Motagua players, come on, what? Yeah, you're gonna look good beating up on semi-professional teams that are probably like 6 months behind payroll. You're gonna look good. Of course, they're gonna call you up to the national team, but you know what? You can't do crap. You can't even put up a decent defensive line. So you know what? That's my rant.
You know what the answer is, don't you?
What is it?
Develop an MLS. It's get MLS teams to grab Honduran players on the cheap right now and develop them.
Well, here's the thing. It used to be a point in time where we used to use the Honduran soccer coaches to automatically skip MLS and just send players to Europe.
Okay.
Now MLS has become kind of lucrative at that point. Yes, you are right.
Oh yeah.
Send those,
Okay. And that's what I hope our league becomes one day, is just like the premier league in North America. So we could still sell players to Europe, but
DPG. I'm gonna save,
one last thing.
I'm gonna save Honduras right now. I'm gonna save Honduras because I got the next best thing. You can't get Matias Almeida. Okay, you can't afford him. Let's get Matias Almeida light.
Who's that?
He likes to have soup.
Oh God! Don't bring that cancer.
He likes to have soup.
You want to
while watching other men.
So here's the thing.
I think you should go get Veljko Paunovic to be the coach of Honduras, because I think he'd ball bust there. He'd ball bust. He'd change the culture, and he's going to be much cheaper. He's also free.
He's not wrong.
He's
That's
free.
Like that coach who wants to fix things from the muck and then get it up to respectable. But see, most teams don't forget to fire that guy once they get to respectable, and then get the guy to take him higher.
Here's the thing. This whole process should have been fixed after the last World Cup cycle, where Honduras did not win a game, and they were at the bottom of the table, which was surprising because nobody expected Honduras to be that low.
No, usually they're at least in the hex.
Yeah, they're in the fight. And that's the thing. That should have been the warning sign. That should have told the Federation, we need to bring someone that's going to clean house and fix stuff around. But now you have players like David Ruiz, who plays in Inter Miami, who at one point he kind of did a ballsy move where I guess he heard that the U.S. men's national team might have been a little bit interested in him, that he literally flew to the Honduran camp just to leave because he thought that there might be interest for the U.S. men's national team, which I guess never materialized. So, you have players like that.
It's tough, man. It's tough when you're down.
I know it's tough.
I guarantee you, Honduran players under Veljko Paunovic ain't doing that.
But you have those kind of players.
Dude, he'd be going to other islands, and he'd be recruiting.
Bro, the thing is,
before we wrap this up, I gotta ask one question here.
Yeah.
Were we all at the same soccer game 9 years before we started this podcast?
Yeah.
At Honduras versus USA at Soldier Field in 2009.
Was it a World Cup qualifier? Oh yeah, it was a World Cup qualifier. 2-1, right?
Yep.
USA won. I was there.
Dempsey gave up that ball. Honduras scored first.
Yeah.
And then
I don't remember
Donovan got the penalty, and Boca Negra scored the winner. Oh man. So we were all at that game.
I don't know if I was there.
Oh,
So-
you weren't there?
I
thought
don't
you
know
were.
if I was there. It's possible.
So I will
there.
say this. I'm gonna finish with this.
It's not rigging anything up.
Players like Rivas, players like Reese, who just come in to kind of warm up the jersey, just don't bother accepting the call, man. Just stay home. You know, there used to be a time and place where players would actually be proud of wearing the jersey and wanted to make a difference on the field, not to just show off and make an Instagram post about it and say, "Hey, look, I'm playing for Honduras." All right, that's it. That's what I'm going to leave it as. You know, I'm hoping that
The
things
newest
change.
TikTok trend, playing for Honduras.
Yeah,
and that's where we're gonna leave it, right? And unless you need more.
Nope, that's it. I'm tired of this team. I'm tired of this team. I gotta get out of this. You know what? I need some proper attire.
He's exercised his demons. We'll be back. We'll be back to cover more international soccer here shortly.